Seoul, South Korea, September 2024. A 28-year-old software developer opens his laptop for what he believes is a life-changing job interview. His name is Kim Ji-hoon, and he sits eagerly in his small apartment wearing a crisp button-up shirt. On his glowing screen, a professional video call connects him with a supposed Silicon Valley startup. They offer him an incredible salary, equity, and remote work. Everything about the American company appears completely legitimate, from the corporate logo to the smooth accent of the interviewer. There is only one minor technical test standing between Kim and his ultimate career dream. The interviewer asks him to download a simple file to demonstrate his coding environment. Kim clicks the download button without a single hesitation. The file opens normally, and everything seems perfectly fine to his trained eyes. But in that exact microscopic moment, an invisible and devastating event has just occurred in the digital shadows. A highly sophisticated piece of malicious code, consisting of exactly 17 hidden lines, embeds itself into his machine. Kim has absolutely no idea that he just opened the front door to the largest financial theft in human history. He is unknowingly dealing with the notorious Lazarus Group, masquerading as friendly tech executives. These individuals are not ambitious startup founders building the next big social media application. They are elite military hackers working directly under the command of the North Korean government. By simply clicking that innocent-looking test file, Kim just gave them a master key to access $1.5 billion. In exactly 96 days, that unimaginable fortune will be completely stolen and laundered to fund ballistic nuclear missiles. Right now, Kim smiles warmly at his web camera, dreaming about buying a new car and upgrading his parents' home. He cannot fathom that in exactly 4 months, federal agents will be violently knocking on his apartment door. They will demand answers to terrifying international security questions that he simply cannot comprehend. The greatest cyber heist ever conceived has officially begun, and this young developer was merely patient zero. We must fast forward to Dubai in the United Arab Emirates, exactly 4 months later. Bybit stands proudly as one of the largest and most secure cryptocurrency exchanges on the entire planet. They protect billions of dollars in customer funds using military-grade security protocols. Their defense systems include multiple signature wallets, cold storage vaults, and advanced biometric authentication measures, designed to prevent any possible unauthorized digital intrusion. However, the most sophisticated security infrastructure in the world always contains one fundamental and unavoidable weakness. Security is only as strong as the human beings tasked with operating the complex daily machinery. Somewhere deep within the corporate organization, an employee made a microscopic but fatal mistake. Perhaps someone clicked a poisoned email link or updated seemingly legitimate software that had been quietly compromised by the shadowy attackers months earlier. We do not know exactly which entry point the hackers utilized after breaching Kim Ji-hoon, but by January 2025, the North Korean cyber warfare unit is completely embedded inside the exchange networks. They lurk silently in the digital darkness, watching and studying how massive financial transactions actually work. They memorize the security protocols and analyze how high-level executives interact with the multi-signature verification systems daily. Multi-signature security requires several different trusted employees to independently approve any massive transfer of corporate funds. It is a foolproof system designed specifically to prevent exactly the type of catastrophic event that is about to unfold. But the Lazarus hackers possess a terrifying digital trick that renders this human verification process completely useless. They engineered a specific malware that does not bother stealing passwords or breaking complex encryption. This masterpiece of malicious coding does something significantly more elegant and profoundly destructive. It dynamically alters the exact financial information displayed on the computer screen of the executive. When an authorized user attempts to transfer money, they enter the correct destination address and carefully verify it. Everything looks absolutely perfect on their monitor, while the hidden malware silently rewrites the actual transaction underneath the deceptive graphical user interface. It is exactly like writing a massive physical check to your trusted business partner. You clearly see your partner name written on the paper, but invisible ink magically changes it to a stranger account. By the time the banking institution processes the document, and you realize the deception, the money has vanished permanently. Now scale that terrifying optical illusion to $1.5 billion moving at the speed of light. To fully understand this digital nightmare, we must rewind the timeline and examine the creators of this devastating weapon. Pyongyang, North Korea, 2009. While the Western world struggles to slowly recover from a massive global financial crisis, this isolated nation faces a completely different existential threat. Severe international sanctions have crippled their economy, leaving the dictatorship with virtually no legitimate trade or usable foreign currency. The
Zoom
Supreme
in
Leader
on
makes
Sector
a cold
4.
and highly calculated
I want
decision
all
to
units
ensure the
mobilized
survival
by
of his absolute
0900
regime.
hours.
If the country
This
cannot
intrusion will
generate
not
wealth
stand.
through legitimate global commerce, they will simply steal it from the Western world. He officially establishes Bureau 121, a highly secretive military cyber warfare unit. Officially, this covert division does not even exist on any government record, but unofficially it is training terrifying digital assassins. The recruitment process for this dark military operation is incredibly rigorous and completely merciless. These are not rebellious teenagers wearing hoodies and hacking from their dark basements for sheer entertainment. They are elite military officers meticulously selected at the tender age of 10 and brutally trained in advanced mathematics and computer science. By their 20th birthdays, they emerge as some of the most dangerous and disciplined cyber weapons on Earth. Their first major international success strikes terror into the hearts of global corporate executives in 2014. The hackers launch a devastating attack against Sony Pictures, stealing highly confidential emails and illegally leaking unreleased blockbuster films. This digital assault directly cost the entertainment giant over $100 million in damages. The entire world notices laughs at the movie controversy, but major intelligence agencies immediately notice a terrifying shift. Western security experts realize that North Korea can reach deep inside massive American corporations and cause absolute chaos. This was never just about punishing a Hollywood studio for producing a disrespectful comedy about their supreme leader. It was a highly coordinated live-fire exercise designed to test their newly forged cyber weapons on a global stage. The brutal success proves their isolated hackers can successfully bypass complex corporate security firewalls. 2 years later, the ambitious military hackers decide to target significantly larger financial institutions. They infiltrate the Central Bank of Bangladesh and attempt to silently siphon $1 billion directly from the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. They successfully drain $81 million. Before
There
a
it
simple
is.
spelling mistake
The primary
alerts a
defense grid
vigilant
is
banking
down.
employee.
Reroute
They
power
typed foundation
immediately.
instead of foundation, completely destroying their massive billion-dollar digital extraction plan. The failed Bangladesh heist served as a brilliant learning opportunity for the relentless Lazarus Group. They realized that attacking massive financial fortresses directly was becoming increasingly difficult due to upgraded global security protocols. By 2022, they completely revolutionized their dark methodology by developing the ultimate supply chain attack. They no longer assault the heavy corporate vaults, but instead quietly infect the everyday tools the employees implicitly trust. This dark evolution leads directly to the chilling early morning hours in Dubai. It is February 21st, 2025, at exactly 2:47 in the morning. An automated digital notification flashes across the quiet corporate network, signaling a completely routine transfer of massive reserves. The protocol dictates moving heavy funds from ultra-secure offline cold storage directly into the more accessible online hot storage wallets. This standard operational procedure happens dozens of times every single month without any issue. A dedicated employee opens the specialized transfer interface and carefully checks the long destination address. Everything appears perfectly correct, including the massive transfer amount and the complex underlying smart contract.
Mr. Zaid, you need to see this now. The firewall is down.
Give it to me.
Is Ben
By
Zhou,
Allah,
the
who
chief
is
executive
responsible for
officer
this?
and visionary founder of the entire company. He is not a low-level worker blindly clicking buttons in a dark cubicle. He is the brilliant architect who personally designed these exact military-grade security protocols to protect his massive digital empire. And right now, he is staring directly at his monitor, diligently verifying what he genuinely believes is a routine corporate transfer. He confidently clicks the final approval button, completely unaware of the digital catastrophe unfolding underneath. He has absolutely no idea that he just personally authorized the largest financial theft in human history. The chief executive officer followed every single rigid security protocol perfectly and still fell victim to the invisible trap. The sophisticated malware perfectly masked the true destination address, feeding him a flawless optical illusion. Multiple trusted executives verify the exact same poison data, and the massive
I need the
transaction
latest market
effortlessly
data
slides
on the
through the
Riyadh
compromised
project
security.
within the hour.
The transaction goes through smoothly, and $1.5 billion instantly disappears into the dark blockchain. Nobody inside the Dubai headquarters notices anything wrong during those quiet early morning hours. The sophisticated malware masked the digital robbery perfectly by feeding the executives a continuous loop of false visual confirmations. The stolen funds bypass all internal alarms and successfully reach a foreign wallet controlled entirely by the ruthless hackers. The attackers do not simply leave the massive fortune sitting in a single digital location. Moving such a colossal amount of money at once would immediately trigger every global financial alarm on the entire planet. Instead, the intelligent malware automatically splits the staggering sum into 50 separate digital wallets within 2 short hours. Each newly created wallet receives approximately 10,000 Ethereum, blending seamlessly into the constant global flow of regular cryptocurrency traffic. By the time the warm sun rises over the towering skyscrapers of Dubai, the stolen money is scattered widely across the complex blockchain network. The brilliant thieves are just getting started with their elaborate laundering operation. At exactly 9 o'clock in the morning, a dedicated security analyst reviewing the overnight logs notices a severe discrepancy. He observes that the cold wallet balance dropped significantly more than the routine transfer should have authorized. The confused analyst quickly checks the internal transaction log and sees the proper executive approvals. Everything looks completely normal on the surface, but his professional intuition screams that something is fundamentally broken. He immediately
Look at
calls
this.
his direct
The cold
supervisor
storage
to
is
review
empty.
the bizarre
We need to
digital
lock
footprint.
everything down
They
now.
carefully trace the final destination address, and their blood
me IT
instantly
command right
freezes in
now.
their veins.
The firewall
That
is
specific
down, we're
receiving
losing
address
everything.
Does not belong to the company at all. A complete stranger now possesses $1.5 billion worth of corporate Ethereum. Within 15 terrifying minutes, the entire executive leadership team is summoned to emergency crisis calls.
The breach is
Within 30
catastrophic.
minutes, the panicked board
All
members are
financial
frantically
data has been
contacting
wiped,
international
and we
law
can't stop
enforcement
the
agencies.
transferimento.
Within an hour, the exchange is forced to make a devastating public announcement to the world. They officially declare a severe security incident, while desperately claiming that customer funds remain safe. The global cryptocurrency community explodes instantly across major social media platforms. Thousands of anxious investors flood forums and chat rooms demanding immediate answers about their vulnerable life savings. Many angry users blindly blame poor internal security or wildly speculate about a massive inside job. But elite cybersecurity experts examining the public blockchain data notice something completely different. This was never a standard robbery, but rather a highly sophisticated military operation. Independent analysts quickly identified the unique digital signature left behind by the attackers. The specific method of splitting the funds and the precise laundering patterns perfectly match previous attacks attributed to one specific entity. The undeniable digital evidence points directly toward the infamous Lazarus Group. The terrifying realization washes over the global financial sector like a tidal wave. This is not just a massive financial crime, but a direct act of cyber war. Ben Joe sits completely alone in his dark executive office, with his phone placed face
There
down
it
on his
is.
massive
The
desk.
signature matches
He
the
just learned
profile.
that the routine
We need to alert the
transaction he
team
personally
immediately.
authorized hours ago was actually a devastating theft. He is the brilliant founder who built this massive company from nothing and designed the rigid security norms. He just lost more liquid capital than most traditional banks hold in their entire physical vaults. His hands shake violently, not from physical fear, but from the crushing psychological weight of his unintentional mistake. Every single leadership decision he ever made ultimately led to this exact catastrophic moment. He keeps agonizingly replaying the early morning verification process in his exhausted mind. The destination address looked absolutely perfect on his bright monitor before he clicked the final approval button. He followed every protocol flawlessly and still lost his empire. His silenced phone buzzes relentlessly as furious investors and terrified board members demand explanations he simply cannot provide yet. A frantic security director knocks loudly on the heavy wooden door, begging to review the system logs and build a timeline. Ben tells him to wait because he desperately needs a single moment to process this impossible reality. But quiet moments of reflection simply do not exist in the middle of a global financial crisis. He finally stands up, straightens his expensive tie, and takes a deep breath before opening the heavy office door. The entire corporate staff is watching him closely, looking for strong leadership and urgent reassurance that their careers are not over. He does not feel like a powerful tech billionaire right now. He feels entirely like the foolish man who just accidentally signed away $1 billion to a hostile foreign dictatorship. Washington District of Columbia, February 21st noon Eastern Standard Time. An intense emergency meeting convenes at the Federal Bureau of Investigation Cyber Division. High-ranking federal agents stare intensely at a massive digital blockchain visualization projected on the wall. Bright lines connect hundreds of digital wallets, showing stolen funds rapidly splitting and merging. It looks exactly like a glowing spider web spreading across the global financial network. The leading agent demands to know if they can immediately freeze the stolen assets. Here lies the fundamental and terrifying problem with modern cryptocurrency networks. It is an entirely decentralized financial system, completely lacking any central governing authority. There is no central bank president to call, and no traditional wire transfer to intercept. The stolen money exists permanently on the public blockchain, visible to everyone but completely untouchable. The only vulnerability occurs
This is
when the clever
unacceptable.
thieves attempt to
Find the
convert
source
digital
of the leak
tokens
and
into
shut it
real
down
usable
now.
currency. This conversion requires utilizing real companies and traditional banking institutions. The federal agents immediately initiate hundreds of urgent phone calls to every major global cryptocurrency exchange. Their strict message is incredibly simple and direct. They distribute a massive list of compromised wallet addresses and demand immediate freezing of any incoming funds.
They're hitting the grid
private
hard.
intelligence company named Elliptic
We need a trace right
is
now.
also watching the digital massacre unfold. They specialize exclusively in tracking dark cryptocurrency movements and have studied the Lazarus Group for many years.
I
Their
want a full
dedicated
trace on that
analysts pull up
IP address
massive amounts of
immediately.
historical
Do
data,
not lose them. We
detailing
are running
every
out of time.
previous North Korean cyber attack. They quickly build a predictive mathematical model to determine exactly where the stolen billions will likely move next. Within 6 intense hours, the brilliant analysts deliver a terrifyingly accurate prediction to the authorities. The sophisticated hackers will utilize decentralized exchanges and complex cross-chain bridges to obscure their digital trail. They will heavily employ anonymous mixers like Tornado Cash to completely wash the stolen assets. These specific privacy tools were originally designed to protect user anonymity, but now serve as the ultimate digital laundering machine. You are currently
The data
witnessing
is
something
clear.
completely
The convergence
unprecedented
point
in
is
the history
here,
of global
indicating a
finance.
90%
$1.5
probability
billion
of
is
impact
being
by
actively
tomorrow.
laundered in real time, publicly on the open blockchain. The entire world can clearly watch the massive robbery happen, but nobody can seemingly stop it. The 50 initial wallets, holding 10,000 Ethereum, each begin emptying their massive contents simultaneously across the dark network. The first designated wallet sends its stolen Ethereum directly to a decentralized exchange platform. It rapidly swaps the tokens for Bitcoin, then quickly moves that Bitcoin to another fresh wallet. It then swaps everything back into Ethereum and sends it to a completely different digital address. Every single rapid swap intentionally breaks the clear investigative trail and makes tracking exponentially more difficult for federal agents. The second wallet executes a completely different but equally baffling technical maneuver. It deliberately sends massive funds into a complex cross-chain bridge converting Ethereum into Binance Coin. This brilliant technical pivot moves the stolen assets onto an entirely different blockchain network. The third wallet dumps its massive funds directly into Tornado Cash, acting exactly like a giant cryptocurrency washing machine for criminals. You send extremely dirty and highly traceable digital money directly into the anonymous mixer. Perfectly clean and untraceable money magically comes out thoroughly mixed with legitimate funds from thousands of regular global users. All 50 original wallets execute these complex technical maneuvers simultaneously using entirely different digital pathways. It is not just one massive laundering operation, but rather 50 separate parallel operations running with terrifying efficiency. By February 23rd, an unbelievable $200 million has successfully passed through the first security layer. By February 25th, the laundered amount reaches $500 million. The dedicated federal agents and Elliptic analysts track absolutely everything, while desperately recording every single digital movement. But merely watching the criminals succeed is vastly different from actually possessing the power to stop them. Authorities only managed to successfully freeze about $50 million intercepted at cooperative exchanges before final conversion. That tiny victory represents roughly 3% of the total stolen fortune. The remaining massive percentage continues moving rapidly through the dark networks still being actively washed by the hackers. Here is exactly where the international situation becomes absolutely infuriating for the desperate law enforcement agencies. One specific anonymous cryptocurrency exchange, named EXH,
All agents
is doing
report to
most
Sector
of the heavy
Gamma.
lifting for the criminals.
We have a breach.
This
Repeat, we have a
controversial platform
confirmed
requires
breach.
absolutely no user verification and asks
Wait,
no
listen
questions
to me.
about fund
No,
origin.
damn it, listen.
Bybit
You
executives
cannot
contact
execute
them
that
directly
trade.
and
Stop
practically
the
beg them
exchange
to block
now.
the obviously stolen funds. They
This
provide
evidence is
undeniable mathematical
conclusive.
evidence and
I
exact
am
wallet
being
addresses,
framed.
but the anonymous
Look
exchange
closer.
flatly refuses to cooperate. The greedy exchange refuses because they are generating hundreds of thousands of dollars in transaction fees. They are actively helping launder stolen cryptocurrency, and it is technically
We
not
found the
illegal
source
under their
IP.
specific
It's
jurisdiction.
escalating
They are
faster than
simply
we thought.
providing a promised
We need a
anonymous
level 1
service,
lockdown on the
adhering strictly
mainframe
to their
immediately.
controversial corporate business model. While federal agents scramble
These
frantically,
transfers,
this
they're
rogue
completely
exchange happily
unblocked.
processes
How is this
transaction
possible?
after transaction for the dictatorship. This terrifying scenario represents the absolute darkest side of unregulated financial decentralization. Absolute financial freedom, unfortunately, means possessing the freedom to actively help brutal dictatorships fund advanced nuclear weapons. But then exactly 10 days after the initial heist, a tiny unexpected vulnerability suddenly appears. A sharp elliptic analyst notices an incredibly strange digital anomaly regarding one of the rapidly moving hacker wallets. March 3rd, 2025. 10 days after the heist, an analyst notices a critical mistake. One specific wallet executes a transaction that deviates slightly from the established laundering pattern. She follows the digital trail and discovers something incredibly fascinating. The wallet deliberately sent massive funds to a small and relatively unknown cryptocurrency exchange located in Southeast Asia. This particular platform requires strict user identity verification. Someone inside the elite Lazarus network got incredibly sloppy, or perhaps just painfully desperate. The Federal Bureau of Investigation
Reroute the
immediately
data
contacts
packets
the cooperative
immediately.
foreign exchange. Within a few tense hours, they obtain a registered account name. It is almost certainly a fabricated
The identity is a
but
ghost.
It provides a starting point.
They've rerouted the
Most
location
importantly,
through a
they secure the
darknet tunnel.
exact internet
We're
protocol
looking at a
address used
complete
to access
fabrication.
the illicit account. The digital beacon points directly to Cambodia. Why would elite North Korean military hackers operate from a random apartment in Cambodia? This brilliant discovery reveals a fascinating truth about how modern state-sponsored cybercrime actually functions. The Lazarus Group does not operate entirely from within the dark borders of Pyongyang. They strategically deploy their highly trained operatives across various Asian countries, including China, Thailand, and Malaysia. These regions offer fast internet and significantly less international scrutiny. The hackers essentially operate a bizarre criminal gig economy, where the ultimate employer is a nuclear dictatorship. They live comfortably abroad, working remotely, while funneling billions of stolen
They're hitting the
dollars
grid
back
in
to their
London.
supreme leader.
I need
Federal
emergency
agents quickly
protocols
share this
initiated
critical
across
location
all
data
European
with
sectors.
local
Go
Cambodian
now!
authorities. But international law enforcement cooperation
Go
remains
now!
incredibly inconsistent.
The clock is
By the
ticking,
time
Agent.
heavily armed local
Yes, sir.
police finally raid the suspect address, the apartment is completely empty. The elusive hackers vanished like ghosts into the humid Asian night, leaving behind nothing but disconnected cables. However, the federal agents found something significantly more valuable than a single suspect. They finally uncovered the underlying pattern of the entire cash extraction network. Patterns can be studied and ultimately predicted. You must understand the agonizing frustration of possessing billions in stolen digital money that you cannot easily spend in the real world. Converting massive amounts of illicit cryptocurrency into usable traditional fiat currency is exceptionally difficult. Every major global bank remains on extreme high alert. Any standard financial transaction over $10,000 automatically triggers severe regulatory scrutiny. To completely avoid these financial tripwires, the hackers must move the money agonizingly slowly. They heavily rely on a vast underground network of human money mules scattered across the globe to physically wash the cash. These shadow facilitators accept the stolen cryptocurrency, and quietly convert it into local physical cash through traditional banking loopholes. They charge an exorbitant commission rate ranging from 10 to 20% for their dangerous services. This means the North Korean hackers willingly surrender up to $300 million just to access their own stolen loot. It perfectly highlights the dark irony of executing the largest financial theft in human history. The brilliant thieves cannot even freely enjoy the unimaginable wealth they successfully extracted from the Dubai exchange. But the ultimate destination of this laundered money is what truly terrifies international security experts. Federal intelligence estimates confirm that cybercrime currently generates roughly half of the entire foreign currency entering North Korea. This staggering financial pipeline directly funds their highly aggressive ballistic missile program and advanced nuclear weapons development. This is absolutely not a simple digital robbery or a standard corporate cybercrime. It is literal state-sponsored terrorism being heavily funded through manipulated blockchain technology.
The trajectory must be
The stolen
adjusted
$1
here.
billion is already
Ensure
purchasing
maximum
physical
payload
materials
capacity.
and restricted technology for weapons of mass destruction. When federal directors desperately classify this specific hack as a critical national security threat, they mean it in the most literal and terrifying sense imaginable. Fast forward to December 2025, 10 full months after the devastating heist. Bybit miraculously survived the catastrophic corporate disaster. They secured massive emergency loans and bravely covered every single missing dollar of customer funds out of their own pockets. The exchange continues regular daily operations, but the staggering $1.4 billion remains permanently gone. Authorities successfully froze exactly 7% of the total bulk. The innocent software developer from South Korea was eventually completely cleared by federal investigators. Kim Ji-hoon remains legally innocent, but he lives every single day with crushing psychological trauma. He constantly remembers that his personal laptop served as the critical entry point for history's greatest digital massacre. The federal authorities successfully arrested a few low-level money mules, but the mastermind hackers remain safely untouchable inside North Korea. The most terrifying detail of this entire narrative is that the sophisticated malware still exists on the dark web. It continually evolves and patiently waits hidden silently on thousands of compromised computers worldwide. In the year before this massive heist, the Lazarus Group stole over $1 billion across 47 separate attacks. The Dubai operation alone eclipsed all of those combined. The invisible digital war is rapidly accelerating,